Hi folks, time for another video. I'm still out here in California, and I wanted to tell you about one of my days, some things I did on one of my days. If you know anything about California, you know that anytime you enter the state of California, you have to go through an agricultural inspection station. So I wanted to show you that first, and just in case you don't know what that is just they want to be sure you're not carrying vegetables that have invasive species in them, like, bugs or something inside that would devastate the crops out here in California. So that's what that's about. I'm just close to the border of Arizona and California, so that's why I have to go through this agricultural checkpoint. But it's usually not bad. I mean, they usually just wave you right through if you're not carrying anything. Now, if I had been in my camper, they would have stopped me and asked me a bunch of questions. I passed by this car that was, I'm going this way and the car was on the left heading in the opposite direction. And he had his blinkers on and he had his hood open. So, he looked like he was in distress. So I turned around, went back and drove up, and I totally forgot to start my camera, so I don't have any footage of it. I got out and asked him if there was anything I could help him with, and he says, "Do you have any gas?" I said, "No, I don't, but I can take you down to the gas station." And he checked his car, and his car would only go like 8 miles. That's what it said on there. That's how much gas he had left. So he said, "Well, will you just follow me to the gas station?" I said, "Sure." I followed him, and he was afraid he was going to run out of gas before he got there, but he made it. He got there okay, and he was able to get his gas, so I didn't have to do much other than drive a few miles. But I think it made a big difference to him because, he's afraid he was going to run out of gas, and so I was his insurance policy. So I was glad to help out. I didn't have to do much, and he didn't ask me any questions that I didn't know the answer to. So then I turned back and decided I would head back in the direction I was originally going. So I went down, I guess about 20 or 30 miles, and I found this place over to the right that I could pull over. So I go to pull over, and then I get stopped by a highway patrolman. I'm like, can't imagine what I'm doing because I don't even speed. And the speed limit along here is 55. I probably wasn't going more than like 50. So anyway, rolled the window down, he came up, and again, I forgot to start my camera. I need to get better with that. But he said he stopped me because when he passed me going the opposite direction, he wasn't 100% sure that I was wearing my seatbelt. So I said, "Look, I'm telling you the truth. I don't drive without my seatbelt. I was wearing my seatbelt and I just took it off because you walked up here and I needed to get my wallet." So he just looked at me and he was like, "Okay." He believed me. And I was actually telling the truth. So anyway, we chatted for a few minutes. I asked him about California and the aquifer, which that thing you see behind me, that fence is the California aquifer. That was it. He was actually nice. He was probably on the young side, probably mid-30s. So another thing that I took a look at is, first of all, let me tell you this story, and then it'll make sense. A long time ago, I'm going to say, a decade ago, I haven't looked at the exact dates, but some time ago, there was this tree, and somebody decided they were going to throw a pair of underwear on the tree. So they did. And as other people drove through here, they saw the underwear and they put their underwear on the tree. So it's called the Rice underwear tree. This road is also called Rice Road, so that's where it's getting its name. So over time, hundreds of pairs of underwear accumulated on this tree. So subsequently, there was a fire that engulfed the whole tree, burned the tree and the underwear on it. So then, I suppose because people had this need to contribute something of their own as they passed through, there was this tamarask that was kind of an old abandoned gas station thing that was sitting there. So somebody decided that they were going to take a pair of shoes and tie them together, tie the laces together, and throw that over the tamarask. So they did that, and then the tamarask started to grow. More and more people came by and threw their shoes over the tamarask, and it just became a rite of passage over years for people to come through and maybe write some graffiti and to put their shoes on the tamarask. So that's called the rice shoe tree. Okay, even though it's not a tree. Still in amazement that people would even do this. There got to be so many shoes on this tamarask that they had to open up another shoe depository, I guess you could say, about a quarter of a mile down the road. And that's called the Rice Shoe Fence. So I had to go down there and look at that too. So yes, this is all craziness, but you know, this is part of culture. This is part of who we are as a people. You know, who can explain it? But we're just like that. You know, people come along, they're out in the middle of the desert, they want to do something, contribute. We all want to feel special. We all want to feel part of something bigger than ourselves. And so I suppose throwing underwear or shoes and making some graffiti helps in that regard. So right beside of the rice shoe tree is another thing to visit. And I think it's called the California Arizona Rail Right-of-Way. And what it is this, you know, we're out here in the desert, so this track is coming through, this train track, single train track. And when it reaches the station, it splits, and you can either go one way to California or one way to Arizona. And I've actually never seen one this big before, so it was pretty interesting to look at it in its serpentine, you know, shape from above. And another interesting thing that people have done is that they've, you know, it has black rocks around where the train track is. And it almost looks like coal when you look at it. So what people have done is they've gotten these white rocks and they've done graffiti to spell things out beside the railway. So I want to show you some of that. Also, because there's this long railway that comes out here, people have done this all along this railway. Not every square inch, but as you drive through here, if you glance over, if you can see the railway from here, at some points you can from the road, at some points you cannot. But if you look at it, you can see a lot of that graffiti on the side. So just a message from some anonymous person to some other future anonymous person saying, you know, proclaiming their love for someone or you know, honoring somebody who died or something like that, whatever you put in graffiti, I thought was pretty interesting, to say the least. So if you haven't figured it out yet, I like a lot of these quirky things that you find along the way. So I went about another 30 miles west and I came upon a well-known signpost called the Rice Road Signpost. And it's right beside of a road that goes all the way back into Iron Mountain. You know, I told you previously I got stopped by the police officer, so I was like, you know, what's back there at Rice Mountain? He says, well, the aqueduct brings in water from the Colorado River and it's funneled back into Rice Mountain where there's a pump station. And then that pump station pumps the water to Los Angeles. So I took a look at this signpost and all the different things people put on it to contribute, and it's just everything you would expect it to be. You know, people putting their names on there. Somebody even put a mask on there. At the very top, you can see there's a mailbox. Of course, no one can reach it, but it's at the very top. So I'm sure there are a lot of you know, hidden messages and metaphors that relate to a lot of the things that people put on there. That was pretty interesting to take a look at that. And, you know, again, it's something that people have chosen to contribute to. And that's what makes it significant. I did not put anything on there. I usually don't, but that's my personality type. I'm kind of like an environmentalist. I don't like to contaminate anything. Like when I go somewhere, I don't leave any trash. I don't do anything to, you know, disrupt the place that I visit, but that's just my personality type. All right, so that's all I have for you, and we're gonna stop here, and thanks for joining me, and take care.